You want great investment opportunities in the golden state of California? Well, we've got the great opportunities you've been looking for, and I'll tell you about them right now. I'm Bryan Ellis. This is episode 155.
You're listening to Self-Directed Investor Radio, America's only podcast exclusively for affluent, self-directed investors, where each day of the week you receive innovative investment strategy and deadly accurate market analysis that's untainted by Wall Street and unblemished by government propaganda, all in 7 minutes or less. Coming to you now from iTunes, Stitcher, and SDIRadio.com, here's your host, Bryan Ellis.
Hello, SDI Nation. Welcome to the podcast of record for savvy, self-directed investors like you. Here we are on another glorious Monday. I don't know if you look forward to Monday like I do, but my friends, it's got to be my favorite day of the week, except for the other 6, which I also love. Folks, a disproportionately large number of you, my dear listeners, live out in California. And a lot of you who don't live there would like the opportunity to invest there. And today, I'm going to tell you all about a way to do that that's simple, safe, and strong. Crazy strong, actually. Let's start with a little example, shall we? Just a couple of weeks ago, the SDI flipping team in Northern California closed a very good and rather typical deal for us. It's a real estate flip transaction. Now, will you bear with me for 30 seconds while I give you some number for those of you who are detail-oriented? Don't worry, I'll reduce it down to the net profit and total duration in just a second, but here are the quick details. The house sold for $180,000. We bought it for $121,000 and put about $14,000 worth of work into the rehab. But for any deal, there are really only 3 bottom line numbers that matter: out-of-pocket investment, net profit, and duration. And for this deal, which is on Houston Avenue in Stockton, California, the total out-of-pocket was $135,500. The total net profit after all costs was $38,200, which is a 28.1% cash-on-cash profit. And it all happened in a total of 45 days. Now, if you're listening to this podcast on our website at SDIRadio.com, just scroll down to see a picture of this property, courtesy of Zillow, and a delightful little table showing those numbers. Now, here's the thing, folks. For experienced flippers like my SDI team in Northern California, there's nothing particularly unusual about that deal. In fact, RealtyTrack releases a report each quarter about flipping activity in the United States, and the most recent such report for the third quarter of 2015, which came out just a few days ago, shows one thing. It shows that flipping is big, with over 43,000 flips completed in just the third quarter of this year. That's 5% of all home sale volume. But the really interesting stats are the average gross profit number per deal, a whopping $62,000 a deal, and the average gross ROI, a massive 33.8%. So there's huge results being generated in very large volumes out there right now if you're in the right market. So why are we focused on Northern California? Well, folks, it's just a question of looking at the data. Just this morning, November 2nd, 2015, Realtor.com released their latest list of 20 hottest markets in America. And almost half of those 20 markets for the entire country are, wait for it, in Northern California. Whether you're talking about San Francisco or Sacramento or Stockton, that's really where the action is. Now, let's be clear. This is not a low-dollar game. The one region of Northern California where we focus is, I believe, the very best option available because the prices there are more affordable, but even so, you really shouldn't even think about getting involved in flipping in Northern California unless you have a budget of at least $200,000. But if you do, just think of it. The example I gave you is just one of dozens my team has performed this year, and that one isn't particularly unusual. We closed on another one just recently in Stockton, the number 11 hottest market in America. And this one yielded a net profit of almost $56,000 versus an investment from our client of $176,000. That's a net ROI of 31.7%. That one took 150 days. 31.7% in 150 days. Now, that was a long transaction for us, but only because we had to evict a tenant from the property after we bought it. Now, we knew that going in, and frankly, the numbers were just too good to pass up, and I'm glad we took that deal. 31.7% in 150 days? I'll take it every single time. So, my friends, some of you are right now looking for great investment opportunities in California, and I've got you covered, but I've only got room for a grand total of 5 new turnkey flipping clients right now. Never heard of turnkey flipping? Well, think of it like this. You fund the deal, you do nothing else, and 3 to 6 months later, you get your money back plus a big, big payday. That's the bottom line. Yes, there's risk. It's entirely possible California could break off into the ocean and you'd lose your entire investment. And frankly, that's one risk I've not yet figured out how to hedge against. But we do have many, many very happy turnkey flipping clients, and I'm so excited to offer you the opportunity to join us as a turnkey flipping client in the scorching hot markets of Northern California. Want to learn more? Then check out sdiradio.com/NorCal, that's NORCAL with no spaces, where I have a special webinar waiting on you with more information about this opportunity. Again, that's sdiradio.com/NorCal, NORCAL. During that webinar, I'll give you many more case studies, and I'll give you a thorough introduction to the process we use for analyzing, selecting, purchasing, renovating, and reselling these properties. You'll understand where all of our efficiencies happen and why it's possible for us to get uniquely great deals in a market that's so hot it's practically boiling. So that's all for today, my friends. Remember, check out sdiradio.com/NorCal for more information right away. And remember, invest wisely today and live well forever.
Thank you for listening to Self-Directed Investor Radio with Bryan Ellis. Don't miss a single episode. Be sure to subscribe to Self-Directed Investor Radio right now on iTunes, on Stitcher, and at SDIRadio.com. Your feedback is always welcomed via email at feedback@SDIRadio.com. This show is for entertainment purposes only and is not intended as legal or professional advice for your situation. Content is the property of the Self-Directed Investor Society.